Good day, good day. Welcome to Words of Wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me. It is absolutely lovely to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a great day. You can see the blue sky outside my window. The sun is shining. It's a lovely day, actually, not too cold, which is magic. And I'm sitting here, I can feel this energy coming in on this beautiful table of mine. And I just wanted to spend some time with you quietly before I go off and do some jobs. And I wanted to start with this sort of concept. I've got this situation that is sort of bubbling in on my life at the minute. And, it's really important that we understand and recognize our triggers, our situations, things we find ourselves in, how we respond and react to them. Two things, really. One, yesterday I sent a message to someone in a very nice way, just asking them not to do something that they'd done. And I understood the situation, and I offered to help, and it was just, I just didn't want it to happen again. And they literally kicked off even more. Then the mother got involved, and they're very toxic people, very unhealed people. And of course, they won't take responsibility or accountability for their behaviors. So immediately they deflect it back. Immediately it becomes, I've done something wrong, which isn't the case. That person made the mistake, but won't take ownership and accountability. And I think sometimes that's really something that we've got to remember. And if you can't see your faults, then you're going to stay a very unhealed person. And in our spiritual journey, we've got to really be honest with ourselves. And if you have a fault, you need to recognize why and what you can do about healing that fault and how you can make a change. Because why would you want to continue? But some people aren't awakened. Some people are not going to be wanting to make a change. They like their life in that toxic environment and they're happy to stay there. I just don't want them in my life. So I have to draw a boundary. I have to say, don't step over it. Then the second thing is I had a conversation again with somebody, my program manager. Get on very well. I'm very supportive and but there's always this little situation that comes up. And I, again, have now had to really put my foot down on my boundary and say, it's unfair for me. I don't want that. And she's like, but you must fight whatever battles, and you're not going to do yourself any favors. And well, the only reason why I wouldn't do myself any favor is if I gave in to people who think they have the power to dictate or decide somebody else's life and not take accountability for the feeling and the hurt or something else for that person. And I don't want to be going, oh yes, okay. Well, no, it's not okay. It's not okay for me. And I need to make sure I take ownership of that. And that's how I was feeling today. So it's not okay for somebody with toxic tendencies to attack you and think that they can get away with it. But then equally, it's not okay for you to allow that toxic behavior to affect you, because it doesn't need to. You can literally say, I'm very sorry for you, but you carry on. I'm not interested in your behaviors. So I felt like that was something that I needed to share with you guys today. And when I did my daily card with the Inner Temple card, the card that came out this morning, you might have seen it on the shorts, is is ancestral healing. And ancestral healing, of course, I love this picture, by the way, all this beautiful gold. It's very powerful. It's very, the person's arms are outstretched. It's like, and this tree, the roots, it's deeper than inner healing. It goes much deeper. It's a deeper situation where it's come ancestral, and we've mentioned this before, that there is evidence of, our DNA is made up of lifetimes of generations. And this is why often you'll see people that look very similar to great-great-great-grandparents, or they would have a characteristic that has come out. And that is DNA. That is ancestral DNA that is within us, in our makeup. And often along comes with that the situations, the problems, the behaviors, the patterns, the beliefs, the structures, because of course, very interestingly, we do repeat behaviors and patterns and things of our parents. For example, I'll often hear my mother speaking out of my mouth and I think, oh, but like even the other day, my niece sent a video of her little boy getting ready to do his Santa thing, and you know, putting out the cookies and the carrots and and the way she was speaking to him and showing him where everything's going and what they're doing and it's all behavior that I as a child was doing, and I passed on to my children, and my sister was doing, and she passed on to her children, and now her children are passing on, and so on. And that is our ancestral lineage. And if there are problems, if there are things that no longer serve us, they can be pretty deep, not just this lifetime deep. And so when we have that healing to overcome and those behaviors, sometimes it can take a little bit of time. And this is why maybe the patterns repeat and maybe the triggers and the cycles are always there. But it is very important when you recognize them as having changed. And then you know that perhaps years ago I would have behaved very differently to this particular person that is very toxic, and perhaps I would have said, oh, okay, well, I did actually a couple of years ago go, oh, all right, I accept that, you know, my program manager talked me out of, you know, the whole thing and what but no, I'm not doing that. You know, it's not fair. I deserve to be recognized. I am worthy of receiving what I believe to be my right as an employee or as a person. And it's important that you manage to say that. If people can't hear it and it doesn't seem to work out, you've got to trust that there's a reason for that as well. And so it is anyway. So I wanted to sort of go through that and start with this idea of ancestral healing, because out alongside this card, we got the other card that has been out with us a couple of times already this week, or these last couple of recordings. The end is also the beginning. So I'm very mindful, because my program manager says, oh, they'll just tell you, well, there we go, you know, and actually that's what might be the case. And things do have to end in order for new beginnings to come in. We do have to let go of past things in order for us to find new ways of being. And I love this card because this portal is very powerful. It's a very powerful portal, and you're standing at that edge now, ready for your changes. And so when we do our healing, when it goes really lineage deep, then we really must accept that things are going to end, and they're going to look very different often. And you might even find that your elderly relatives might say to you, oh, you're the one that's changed everything. You're the first person, I hear it often, the first person that's come to university in the family. Things like that. So that is very, very true to how this ancestral healing has to take place. So the end is also the beginning. You know, we have got a real depth to overcome often. So I'll read for us the ancestral healing. I'm going to also read our little calendar message today, because it's quite interesting how it aligns. Strive for progress, not perfection. If you are waiting for everything to be correct before you can do anything, it'll never happen. So you need to make sure that you keep going forward for progresses, warts and all, mistakes and all, not really understanding everything, but you will. And it's about that progress. Looking back, you can see your progress. Going forward, you don't have that yet, but you just have the faith in yourself that you can do it. That's what transformation is all about. And on the other side, it says, real gold is tested in fire. A real hero is seen in adversity. And that is so true. When there's adversity, the person that shines is normally the one that has taken the biggest leap of faith and trusted that they've been guided for the progress, for the sake. And I feel like I've been doing that I've actually had a message about that this morning, that I have been breaking ancestral patterns. And it's okay to love your ancestors and to free them as well of those patterns and behaviors. You do not need to stay the same if it is no longer of value or it's no longer going to be helping in any way for your growth, because don't forget, you're here for a soul purpose as well. So ancestral healing. During these times, so much is coming up for healing. We're discovering how hurt can be passed down from cell to cell through the generations. Our ancestors are the reasons we're here, and without them, our soul wouldn't be in a human form. From them, we may inherit many gifts as well as patterns of conditioning and trauma that we long to be freed from. Many of these patterns are coming to the surface now in order to be processed and healed. Sometimes those who came before you weren't able to understand, let alone process, what has thus far gone unhealed. Sometimes it takes a courageous soul with an open heart when the conditions are just right to feel in order to heal, to process in order to free themselves. This card is an acknowledgement, a nod towards the work you're doing as a circuit breaker in your family system and in the collective. You're being acknowledged for the part you're playing in the healing of humanity through healing yourself and being with what is. You're being acknowledged for the part you play in healing your ancestral line and the collective too. So maybe you're in the midst of a deep ancestral healing, or perhaps you're finding your way back to the surface, having journeyed to the depths of the line you came into. Try your best to honor the gifts of that line as well as the difficulties. In doing so, you not only set your ancestors free, but you galvanize that energy and transform it into strength and support. In a temple activation, I honor my ancestors for the life that they gave me, and I set myself and them free. And then we had the end. Is also the beginning with our beautiful portal picture. The end is the beginning, and the beginning is also the end. Mourning is on the other side of mourning. Healing is on the other side of feeling. Rebirth is on the other side of death. Everything in this world begins again if you have the courage to let it properly end. Life is always trying to initiate us into who we're becoming. It's nature's way, and it always involves change. So change is the one constant in life. Nature is the greatest mystery school there is. The snake knows, the rose hip does too. We need to surrender what once was to one day be reborn anew. Change can be scary, for it means surrendering to the unknown and trusting in your rebirth by letting go of what once was, to being not who you were and not quite who you'll soon become. It requires us to trust in the transformation, for we're always transforming, to trust in the death for the rebirth to occur. The more we resist change, the further away we get from who we're becoming. The more we resist change, the more disconnected from life force and life we become. When we embrace change, we embrace life and nature and are forever becoming. It's what the soul came here for. It's the bridge of spirit and matter. Your soul came here to truly live. So your soul inquiry says, what are you being called to release in order to start something new? Very, very powerful. So that is where we're going today, my friend. Definitely strive for progress, not perfection. We have got our beautiful messages from our angels, cards on the deck today. They really just jumped at me and said, we want to come. On the bottom is Archangel Gabriel. And I love this card because Archangel Gabriel is our Archangel of communication, which is the one I really need later on today. So I'm hoping that he will be there for me later on. But anyway, let us look at our ancestral healing. Let us think about how we must make our change, and we must release in order for that change. And let us ask for our guidance today. You may need to hear. I need some water. What is our guidance for today, please, Spirit? And anyone here that needs to hear it. There's something here. Possibly we're still in our little hump stage of going over that bridge. Let's see our messages from our angels, please. What do our angels have to tell us today? All right. So we have got Grace and Antoinette. To help heal this situation, see the other person's point of view with compassion. So funny how I mentioned both the situations I find myself in, and you know, the toxic situation is really, you know, I do see, and I did send the message with compassion and understanding, but they don't choose to see it like that. They just choose to see it as an attack, which it wasn't. And sometimes you've got to understand that possibly, you know, the people that are unhealed, they do need a little bit more help in maybe recognizing something that is nice, because they are in such toxic patterns in life that they immediately expect somebody to hurt them. And when they have that thought process all the time, it's very difficult then when you are genuinely coming from a place of understanding and compassion or whatever, it gets projected straight back at you in a different form. So this is why it's important for you to recognize maybe that change. All right. So view something with more compassion. But again, like I clearly said as well, you know, it's about having compassion for yourself. You don't deserve to be treated less than. You do not deserve. You are worthy of making sure your boundary is not crossed, because you don't deserve to be attacked or to be left out or to be hurt in any way. So there's a compassion for yourself, and if you can stand up for yourself, that's what you're doing. You're nurturing your own self, aren't you? Looking after yourself. We've got Serena here, which is, I am the angel of abundance. You will receive the money that you need, and God is in charge of how that will happen, and have faith. So having faith that whatever is going to change for you in this near future, whatever this change is, you know, sometimes the toxic patterns can be financially related. It definitely was with me. And it took me, it still, even now, takes me a little moment sometimes to recognize that sort of ancestral situation. I remember as a child, it's just come down loaded to me, so this might be relevant to someone else, I don't know. But I remember as a child, my grandmother would be counting the money they'd take, their takings of the day at the pub and restaurant they ran, and I would watch her count money, and she'd be counting. I always remember the way she'd be so quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, and she'd be counting these pennies and putting them in little bags and putting them over here. And it was, and now when I look at it, you know, as a child, it looked so impressive. But now I look at it, it's almost like, I don't know, it feels very sort of Scrooge-like, you know, putting all this little money in little bags. They had to do it for the banking system, I'm not saying, but it just felt very sort of, everything was put away, put in bags, put in piles. You weren't allowed to touch it. You were, you know, that type of feel. It was very, that was what I remember about that scenario. So maybe there's something to do with money that possibly is a bit of an ancestral trait or a release that you need to look at. It could be the end is also the beginning, where, often we'll hold on to jobs because we've got mortgages to pay, or we've got to earn a living, and it's terrifying to go out in the job market again, or terrifying to let something go that obviously, but you're so unhappy with. Very interesting. So take what resonates. We've also got Opal here, and Opal is your children on earth and in heaven are happy and well cared for by God and the angels. So that could be the reason why the money situation could be a problem in terms of the end and new beginning. Also, people don't leave marriages, relationships because of money. I spent a lot longer than I should have, because I was convinced that by the other one that I'd be no good and I would never survive. And it's not, it's really, it becomes a fear. And if you can trust, and this is really what our spiritual journey is all about, seeing things from a compassionate point of view for yourself. Love yourself enough to make your changes, and love yourself enough to see things. Right, so sorry about that. So we've got that down now. So that is our beautiful messages from the angels. I'm just going to go to having a little look of a bit more deeper into Opal. As one of your children's guardian angels, I watch over them ceaselessly and never tire of keeping my watchful eye upon them. For as I gaze upon your children, I see their divine light. I see their true perfection, their goodness and their innocence. I ask that you see your children through my eyes, which will help their love and light to be fully expressed. I love you. I love your children, and your children love you. Isn't that the most beautiful message? So yes, that is very important right now. It's especially this time of the year with our children, and it's Christmas. Grace and Antoinette, you are projecting something from your own shadow side onto the other person. So the situation is an opportunity for you to clear away any ego issues. Simply affirm, I am willing to release that part of me that is irritated when I think of you. Okay, instead of pitying someone, see that that person's inner strength and godliness. In that way, you encourage divine light to be expressed within the other person and yourself. We angels are helping to heal the situation, and miraculously that so everyone will forgive and forget judgments and act responsibly. Compassion is the key. All right, so that's very beautiful. All right, so we're going to ask now for our wisdom oracles. Wisdom, beautiful wisdom oracles. For our ancestral healing, can we have some guidance, please, Spirit, for today, for anyone who needs to hear this, any problems that they might have, changing the way we see things or do things? What could we have some guidance on, please? What is our guidance? Beautiful. Yeah, orphaned has come out in reverse again. That card keeps coming out. That's that shadow side, and it really, has been with us a little bit longer than so there's still maybe that little bit of release of something. So are you, with this idea of to help heal the situation, is there something that you are projecting yourself, is it something in your shadow side? Okay, anything else, please, Spirit? Yes, there it is. Never-ending story. That's something very important as well. And then we have two cards that have come out and aren't flipped over. So let's have a little look. So we have a never-ending story, and that actually jumped out on top of the end. Is also the beginning. So something here possibly is a bit of a cycle. Came out under ancestral healing as well. So is there a little bit of a cycle to do with this situation where you're not seeing it with compassion? Is it something to do with finances that you are worrying about the abundance? Have faith. You will be looked after. And it could be something that you're overcoming because it has been in the shadow side. And maybe, just maybe, we don't need to always lean into our shadow side. Sometimes we can bring it in and absolutely use the power of that shadow side to recognize the fact that there is a cycle and that it needs to be let go of. You can choose to stay in it and stay using it or not. If it doesn't serve you anymore, let it go. Let it go. Okay, let it go. So I am going to read Orphan, number 5. 5 is all about, you got it, transformation. So it is essential meanings is a sense of loss and an identity crisis, recognizing you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. So protection message. The shadow side of this card speaks to the essence of abandonment. Perhaps you feel a need to remain apart because intimacy is too threatening. It also warns against creating inappropriate family structures in order to conceal old wounds. Very interesting, ancestral healing. All right. It's time to address these unhealthy alliances you formed and make a decision to heal the past. There it is. Very, very clear. Not all you will not be abandoned by the world if you claim yourself as whole. Remember what I said. You know, it is unfair of yourself not to give yourself compassion and see it from your point of view that you are right, without guilt, without worry, because sometimes we let things go because we feel like we won't be liked, or there'll be something, and that in itself is healing, isn't it? Because we're so worried what other people are going to say about us, which is about our worthiness then, ultimately, and that's not good. And we're people-pleasing. Not all relationships are dysfunctional, and not all of them will disappoint you. Don't abandon yourself. Exactly. Do not do that. See yourself as well with compassion. You can connect to others in a healthy way once you recognize your patterns, consciously choose to interrupt them. Life wants to love you. Let it. So, for example, that message I sent probably couple of years ago, maybe more, 3 years, 4 years ago, I might have actually been ready for I might have had a right go. I might have been really angry. A lot of different ways I would have handled the situation. But I chose to handle it in a more compassionate, caring way. And I wanted to try and also calm my daughter down, my child, who was upset about it as well. Of course, when you're dealing with toxic people, they come back at you. And this toxic person really upset my daughter this morning. And I had to, again, calm her down and give her some compassion and nurturing and guidance, really, in a way that I surprised myself. I didn't allow it. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel... remember, I think I might have even mentioned to you guys before, that sort of protective, because, like I did with my father the other day when my mother just triggered me with something. And I was like, this is unusual, but I'm quite glad that I saw that cycle. And I feel like this is the end is also the beginning. It's the beginning of the new me. And you don't have to accept people like that in your life anyway. They don't mean anything to me, which is what I'm trying to say, because I've chosen to not allow that to enter across my boundary, my threshold. There's a line I've drawn in the sand. I don't need people like that to unbalance me, to upset my harmony, my peace, my joy. And that is what I've been working for, and I deserve that. And I love that about that right this very moment. And I'm sharing this with you because perhaps you need to hear this, but also it might be a good bit of guidance for you for a future scenario. Perhaps you've just gone through something or about to go through something, and something might, look very different for you. So that is always my intention when I do these readings anyway. All right. So, never-ending story. Let us read that never-ending story. Number 37, and 3 and 7 goes to 10, which is completion. So never-ending story is self-criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary dramas. Exactly. The oracle's message is there is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that. Remember I said to you that's what my program manager, lest your world come crumbling down. Well, today know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story. The narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. So can you see the heart underneath this time? This is a time, one of those time things, you know? And this heart is like encased a little bit into this round sort of bubble here. And really, it can take time for you to recognize this. It can take, because of ancestral healing, because of these deep-rooted patterns and behaviors that maybe served you in the past, but you feeling it no longer does. And that's good, because that's your change. We have 2 cards over here, so I'm going to have a look at them for us. We have yin energy, which is feminine energy. Very beautiful energy, the pinks, the love. Show yourself this love. Show the other people the love, okay? So yin energy, and then we have clean it up. Things are changing and it's okay. You know, look at this stag holding this broom upright as if it's like a woohoo kind of feel to it. You are making things different because you need them to be. Remember that. There's a reason for it. It's very important. Clean it up. Definitely. Our yin energy number 2. The feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information, taking in cues, the art of conscious allowing. This is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming to you, ready to accept it when it appears. Absolutely. So I'm not going to go and look for someone to fight. If they come to me, then we'll have a conversation. If they choose not to, then that's also good. That's fine with me. Yin does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you, poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. This is exactly what I'm doing today. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped, not the shaper. And you'll see how quickly your dreams manifest. So, lesson for me today, my yin energy, my feminine energy. I can stand in my power and know that I can clean this up. I can make this my miracle very easily. Clean it up, 21. Getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. You can choose this. If you choose it, that's what it's going to present to you. Ever feel so bogged down with emotion or gunk you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your home? Okay, every item is out of place and natters away at you. Now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleaning house. Just do it. I can clean my energy. I do not need to allow this toxic energy into my world. I don't want it. There's the line in the sand. I can see their situation because I can do it from compassion. I'm very sorry for them that they are so toxic and they love that sort of story in their life. That's up to them. I don't want it in my life. I make that choice. Okay, good. Intuitive Whisper. It's calling me now. Let us get some guidance based on this situation. Guidance, please. Guidance, guidance, please. All of these have just flipped over. Become your own priority. Absolutely. This is what it is. Become your own priority right now. Very good. I love that, because this is exactly what I was saying. Let your ship set sail. Do you want people to hold you back? Then you stay in the old behaviors and patterns. If they come up, if the cycle repeats in some way, you need to try and find the ways in which, for yourself, you allow yourself to move past this. Don't rely on anyone else. Only you can get your ship to set sail. And stop pushing and striving. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy what comes. Let the energy take you along. Let it come to you. Don't need to push. You don't need to strive. You don't need to work harder. You've done the job. You're doing a good job, I'm hearing. You're doing a good job. It's a good thing. Well done, you. We're here. We're here for this reason. It's beautiful. You're doing a good job. Stop pushing and striving. Stop pushing and striving. You're trying too hard to make things happen, and it's time to slow down and enter into the flow with life. Enter into that flow. Let the energy come to you. Absolutely. Let your ship set sail. That's it. Let them. If they want to come at you, let them. You choose how you want to respond. But just remember, whatever happens, you do it with love and compassion, understanding. Feel sorry for them, whatever you want to do, but you really don't need to be worrying about this. All right, finally, our Witch's Garden. I felt like I needed some Witch's Tarot just to get us through and to confirm everything. Please, guidance for us today. Guidance, please, for us today. 9 of Wands, 9 of Wands, 2 of Wands, Wands, beautiful Wands. Magic, magic, magic. Anything else, please, Spirit? Anything else? My dog, she's sitting right here watching the whole reading. And you enjoying it today? Yeah, you enjoying this read? She's licking her lips and she's wagging her tail. She's enjoying this reading today with us. Okay, so we have got our 9 of Wands. I just want to move that over there. Our 9 of Wands, our 10 of Wands. Wow. And we have the Moon. Okay, so the Moon, we had the Goddess of the Moon yesterday, didn't we? Moon is very important. When's the new moon? It must be coming up real soon. But our beautiful Moon is all about, it can be about mystery, something that can be hidden, but it's also, again, feminine energy. So that's very important. The 9 of Wands, you can see here, you know, whatever was blocking, you've broken free from it. You've picked up that wand. And it's almost like you're crouched ready to move. It came out on top of stop pushing and striving. And same with the 10 of Wands. These burdens, you know, you've packed up now. You've got everything you need. These burdens you can carry. They're going to help you. They've made you who you are, the strength. And then we have this beautiful Queen of Swords. Stand in this Queen of Swords energy. You know, this is our message today. Very strong, logic, mindful, very strong and powerful Queen. You don't need to raise your sword. Okay, and finally, the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is all about, you know, being patient, and something is going to change, to begin. Right, and we had our 2 of Wands that came out on top of Become Your Own Priority. I can see that very clearly. All right, so let's read the Moon first of all. The Moon. Oh, that was Star. Where's my Moon? The moon is emergence, bewitched moonlight, wolves howl and bark, creeping shadows yawning dark, bringing forth new stories told, embrace the unknown, let paths unfold. And I've put it out over, let your ship set sail. Let those paths unfold. Let that energy come to you. Sleep and dream life, psychic nature, subconscious becoming conscious, emergence, shadows become light. And if you remember, we had this orphaned, and it is in the reverse. And there's 2 cards that came out that are near this as well. You know, this shadow, it's now becoming the light. It's becoming the norm. It's becoming the way in which you're seeing things. Let things happen. Okay, with the 2 of Wands, insight. Looking ahead, plotting, planning, visioning. Observe the lay of the landscape to align with your desire. Bring together equal opposing forces and ideas to foster the energy of transformation. We've talked about this. It's beautiful. And then let's go to our we had the 9 and 10 of Wands. We've had the 2 of Wands, a lot of Wands. So the 9 of Wands is about breaking boundaries. Okay, so stepping into unknown territory, strength and knowledge through embrace to challenges. So you're feeling that power. You can. Someone's coming at you. If you stand up for yourself, you speak your truth. Stop pushing and striving. You don't need to worry. You don't have to keep fighting too hard. And the 10 of Wands is culmination and is Saturn in Sagittarius. And that really is about a cycle is complete, new adventure. And there it is there. We're stepping through that portal. We've talked about the cycles being completed. So that is, this never-ending story. This cycle is complete. You can overcome this very easy, quickly. It's that final, I feel like a little final test with the Hanged Man, which I will get out now for you. You can just find him. The Hanged Man is amazement, motion, a second sight, because he was in reverse. Receiving an energetic transfusion. A reversed Hanged Woman card is as vibrant as it is upright. And that is really beautiful, because we put that right by the Queen of Swords. So that vibrancy, that motion, that second sight, that knowing is with our beautiful Queen of Swords. And she is, I will tell you now when I get to the royal rulers, where is she? Our Queen of Swords is all about trust how you communicate with others. Speak your mind with clarity and control. If that's not a very clear message to me, I don't know what is. Absolutely. Very clear message. Trust how you communicate. If something is required, ask for it. It shall be yours. Clarity and control. Don't let them get to you. You've come so far. And now we'll look at these other 2. The Queen of Cups, which is about love and nurturing. And that came out very clearly on top of your children on earth and the yin energy. And then we also have the King of Wands. Gosh, there's loads of wands here. And our King of Wands, become your own priority, he went and sat upon. The King of Wands, he really is quite spectacular. Let's have a little look at him. Oh, first of all, let's do the Queen of Cups. She is an empath. Okay, she's all about flowing stream of possibilities. She's about an attitude of compassion, understanding, empathy. So just much like Grace and Antoinette have said, it is about that compassion, the empathy, understanding, having faith. All right, making sure you understand other people's point of view. Master of your own emotional state. Reach for the sublime. And then we have the King of Wands. He is the leader. He is a leader. He's strong. Spirituality is a key factor in your situation. Adopt a lion-like attitude. So compassionate, strength, lion attitude, no nonsense. Draw the line. Speak your truth with clarity, clearly. Don't accept less. Be equitable and honest in your dealings. Trust your original vision and see it through to its rightful conclusion. Great power resides within. So, my friend, whatever the situation is for you, this has become very clear for me how I'm going to arrange. I'll have to let you guys know how it goes. But yeah, if you can remember to just step into your power, this ancestral healing, you don't need to behave in ways that you used to behave. You can very clearly take a situation and make it favorable to yourself, because you are here now. You're standing at this portal, at this power. You have arrived. Use your power of your feminine energy. Empress power. The Empress card didn't come out, but that's how it feels. We've got 2 queens and we have a king on this table. So we have royal blood here. Trust in that. Trust in your vibrancy. Trust in your knowing, your insight. Okay. I hope that helped. I don't think we need anything more, perhaps. No, do you think? No, I don't think we do. All right, well, maybe we'll take a rune card. Let's take a little overall rune card. I do like my rune cards. Let's see a little overall guidance. Ehwaz. Transportation may represent a horse, car, movement, and change for the better. So change for the better. Nordies, delays, restriction, resistance leading to strength, innovation, distress, confusion, conflict, and the power of will to overcome them. All right, Nordies. So, whatever this situation is, you do have the power to overcome it. You will see that. Ehwaz has come out as well. Strength, reliability, trustworthiness, enlightenment, endurance, and protection. So you are being guided, you are being protected. Spirit has told us you don't have to worry. All of this learning, all of these things that we're doing, it is for us. We're cleaning up things. If you need to clean up something, it's got to be cleaned up. And we get the tests to do so, you know. And just trust in that. Okay. I'll see you again soon.